Hey everybody, this is Dirty Mike D with Fat Guy Gaming, and I want to welcome you to my Tier 6 Japanese Destroyer comparison video, where we will be looking at the Akazuki, Yukikazi, Shiriatsu, and the Asashio, and comparing all in the Tier 6 range, and seeing kind of, what makes each one tick, which one's DPS and torpedoes kind of outdo one another, and just giving you a general comparison of how the Japanese destroyers at this tier are set up. For comparison's sake and consistency, I will be showing these ships with Raizo Tanaka on and a double concealment build with Bay and Swirsky. As you can see, my Raizo is 16.3, so I will have some pretty good concealment on all four of these ships. This is just, if you use a different commander like Kurita or different inspirations, your numbers are going to be different than mine, but just to keep a baseline, that's who I'm going to be putting on these ships. The first thing we're going to look at here is the survivability of these ships. So they all have pretty much the same armor scheme, except for the Asashio has slightly more minimum armor with 13 to 20 throughout, which will probably help if you're dealing with some of the smaller caliber secondaries that are AP with some of the battleships, and if you come against another destroyer that happens to be shooting AP, and you can turn bow into them. But for the most part, this 10k in armor isn't gonna do a whole lot for you no matter what. You're gonna be taking HE damage, and you're in a destroyer. The Yukikazi and the Asashio also have on average about 2,000 more hit points than the ACAT and the Shiriatsu. They're pretty much all the same. Pick your poison on that. You can do a Sims build and get a little bit more. They are tier 6, so you're going to get quite a few more hit points out of them if you decide to go that route. I don't usually, except for with my Russian destroyers. So as far as picking a ship based on survivability, it's kind of a toss-up. Next, we're going to look at the artillery on these ships. So the way I looked at it was the Yukikazi, the ACAT, and the Asashio all have 6 guns, where the Shiriatsu only has 5. The Yukikazi has a slightly better HE round at a max damage of 2150 per round, and I went ahead and calculated the alpha damages on all 4 ships. Alpha damage is basically if all shells in one salvo hit at one time, what's the max damage that this could do? And the Yukikazi comes out as the highest in its class at 12,900 and a DPS of a little over 1,554 damage per second. Surprisingly, the ACAT came in second, the Asashio came in third, and the Shiriatsu, which was kind of supposed to be the gunboat line, but it isn't, came in last at 9,000. Now, if you pull a Kurita on this instead, you can probably make these numbers change a whole bunch for you. This is with a, stealth torpedo boat build. But the Yukikazi does come out with the highest alpha damage in this tier for these Japanese destroyers. AP-wise, they all pretty much have the same AP, and if you extrapolate it out, the Yukikazi's still going to come out ahead. But, how often are you really firing AP in a Japanese destroyer? Not all that often, but it does happen. It does happen. All right, now let's take a look at the torpedoes for these boats. The torpedoes on these ships are relatively similar in a lot of ways for the ACAT, the Asashio, and the Shiratsu. The Asashio and the Shiratsu both have reload boosters. With the Shiratsu, you can change out the smoke for a reload booster if you would like to. It does help in a lot of situations to be able to instantly reload and have them. You can really surprise somebody with them. The speed on all 3 of those ships on those torpedoes are all 66 knots, whereas the Yukikazi has 80 knot torps, but they also sacrifice a bit of range for that. The other 3 ships have 11.6 kilometer range, whereas the Yukikazi only has a 9.3. But with that said, the alpha damage on the Yukikazi is the most. It does about 179,000 if you were to hit all 8 torpedoes at once. Whereas the ACAT has the best damage over time. Since you have 3 sets of 3 on that thing, you can fire 2 and save 1 for a defensive thing, or you can fire all 3 if you want. But the damage over the DPS on that thing is the best. With the Yukikazi's coming in second, the Shiratsu's coming in third, and the Asashio coming in fourth. but the DPS number does not calculate when the reload booster is used. So that does give a bump to the DPS in those two ships that do have it. So as far as these torpedoes go, I enjoy all of them. They're just a little bit different. Like I said, the Yukikazi's reload is 91 seconds. The ACAT actually has the best reload of them all at 66 seconds, with the Asashio and Shiratsu's at 88 seconds. All right, now let's take a quick look at the maneuverability of these ships. So the Yukikazi has a top speed of 37.1 with the commander I have on it. So does the Asashio. The Shiratsu is the slowest one of the bunch at 36 knots, but the ACAT comes in at a blistering 40.3 knots. The Yukikazi makes up for the 37.1 with a 2.1 rudder shift, which is the best in its tier of the Japanese destroyers. The Asashio is the worst at 2.9, and the ACAT at 2.6, and the Shiratsu at 2.5 come in right in the middle. The turning radius on the Yukikazi, the ACAT, and the Asashio are all 640, whereas the Shiratsu comes in at 590, so it has quite a bit tighter turn radius, but at a slower speed. You know, I think when you're out there, the only thing you're really going to notice out of all those numbers is the ACAT with its 40 knots. It's going to be a little bit harder to hit when you're just running out. And the Yukikazi with the 2.1 rudder shift is gonna be a little bit more squirrely whenever you're trying to dodge rounds. But all in all, they're pretty close to the same. You're not going to notice too much of a difference, except for if you maybe go from the Yukikazi straight to the Asashio, and you notice a little bit sluggish rudder shift. Okay, so now for the crown jewel, or what these ships are really good at, and that is going undetected. 3 out of the 4 ships have some of the best detection in the game at 4.6. The Shiratsu, though, it comes in at 4.9 with my current commander setup with a double concealment build. When carriers come in, you're going to care a little bit more about the detection by air, but as of right now, they're all the same at, I think, 2.5, so it's not too much of a difference. Well, there's no difference in any of those, so I wouldn't go picking a ship based on airplanes right now. But 4.6 is a really low concealment, and with the ranges on these torpedoes, you're going to be able to get into a pretty good position before you let loose with a high probability of hit. Alright, so here I am in my Yukikazi. First thing I do really is check the enemies on the other team, what I got going up against, what enemy destroyers are going to have to deal with. And I decide I'm going to come on over here to A and help with the contest and everything over at A. Now there is 5 destroyers per side, and I am in a more or less a torpedo boat. So I don't have twist and track here, but we all kind of, if you played enough, you know the lanes that these people are going to take for the most part. So I decide off the rip, I'm probably going to try to just torpedo one of the lanes. I see that I got this this friendly destroyer with me, so I'm not as worried about it. Hopefully, I didn't... Hold on a second, we'll see what kind of ship that is. Hopefully he has twist and track. But, you know, they're going to be coming from right to left for the most part across A at the tip of that circle. So the second my torpedoes are going to make it through the circle, I decide I'm going to go ahead and kind of give a torp. I'm checking to see how hard this Gneisenau is charging right now by having my torpedo indicator in and seeing how fast the numbers are counting down. Fiji's already in range, but I'm not gonna waste torpedoes yet on a cruiser. They're just so maneuverable at that distance. So here we go. You see, I changed it to wide just to. These are area denial things I'm throwing out, and with a 1 minute the reload time on this thing, I'm not like too worried about it. And I see this enemy Benson, and normally I would just be quiet here and not shoot, but I don't really, when I'm by myself, trust my friends to put fire down on that thing. And right here, I'm just trying to knock out an engine or something. before you see I popped my smoke already and going dark. Figure I'm going to take a couple shots, but I'll survive it because they've already fired for the most part at our guys. And look, this Benson is getting chewed up, and this is one less destroyer in a big destroyer match that I don't have to worry about, especially a gunboat Benson. So I'm concealed. My torpedo just hit something. What was it? It was, I don't even know what that torpedo hit. Those were just the area denial torpedoes that I threw up. So I didn't even notice what it hit at the time. Now I'm looking at this Fiji. He's starting to get closer to me. He's within about 3.5 clicks of my concealment, and I'm getting a little nervous. Here's this Gneisenau. He's still pushing in. Torpedoes are getting close to coming back. No one's pushing me too hard, so I just sort of stop while I get this Gneisenau nailed down. All right, so the Gneisenau turned out, and I decided, you know what? 4.6, this Fiji's getting a little too close. I'm going to put a short set and a wide set out right here, just hoping to catch him. And I don't torp cruisers at this distance too often, but here I decided just for self-preservation I'm going to. And I'm getting myself turned out so I can keep opening the concealment range and not getting caught. You know, other than that, what I did, look at this. I'm going to catch him. Pow! Gotcha! Big wins for me. Now the Gneisenau is one of my biggest things. His secondaries will get me. Here's an ACAT. I'll tell everybody, shoot at him. He's close. Let's do this. Enemy destroyer closing in on my ships over there. It's time to start giving him some fire. Hopefully take out a torpedo tube or an engine or something. There we go. Rudder. He fixed it right away, which means the next shots, if I destroy something, he took big hits. Look at that. All right. Now I don't have to worry about him torping my boys too bad. There's a kill shot on him. All right, back to the Gneisenau that I still haven't got my torpedoes off on. He's kind of farther away and moving out, I believe he was. So Scharnhorst. Okay, so Scharnhorst, you don't want to really bow in, especially with the reload on these. So I decided to start heading out, hoping he's not going to catch up to my 4.6 detection. As you can see, it gets to 4.7. It looks like he sort of starts turning to his port side, which makes a big difference to me. So now I'm parallel with him for the most part. He's running straight out. It's time to launch some fish. You're going to see I catch this guy, and it's over for him. I don't waste my other set on him because I don't know what I'm going to need it for. When those fish, as you can tell, they're running straight and normal. They're going to catch him. He hasn't even tried to avoid them. He's pretty much walleye visioned in on his current target. So here we go. Here they hit. 1, 2. Got him. And one goes further and hits a Yukikazi that I didn't even see. How about that for luck? That's a nice double strike. So I'm at 67,000, and I don't think I get too much more than that on this, just because the ships didn't come to my side for the most part. There's just not enough hit points around where I'm at to get. But this is a pretty good game in the Yukikazi, pretty average game. I mean, it's no 200,000 or nothing, but it's a pretty convincing win with this ship, and I really like the way it plays. It has enough punch with the alpha strike on the guns that if you have to shoot, it's worth it. And the torpedoes are super fast, which is what I like. I'm more of a mid-range torpedo boat, and I like the faster torpedoes. But yeah, I really did enjoy this ship. The rest of this game is just us chasing this cruiser, so I don't ever catch up with it. I'm going to go ahead and clip the last few minutes of this out. You guys don't need to watch me running the map to try to kill one thing. I think I might get a fire on him or something, but yeah, so that's it. I will post what the end game stats were for this one, and you can make your mind up if the Yukikazi is something you want to grab. Thanks. Bye.